punched in the face, but for no other reason than being someone's big sister. Is it because I seem like an elitist dickhead? I really like Death Is Not Glamorous, Tiger's Jaw, The Movie Life, No Effects, Saves the Day, Set Your Goals, I Am the Avalanche, Fireworks. Is that enough? I think this list has gone on for long enough. Even though the list extends beyond that, I'm gonna just draw it to a close. The list has ended. They're fun. They're genuine, actual fun. They're fun. I mean, they're only fun when you actually try. I used to just be a button masher, an occasional button masher in a few fighting games, and that's not very fun. There's some fun, but it doesn't last very long, and especially not when you're playing someone who's in anywhere near decent. But once you actually start learning moves, you start to appreciate the skill involved in fighting games, and that appeals to me hugely. And winning games is just incredibly satisfying, and makes you want to play more, and to get better, and to win more. It's a great genre avenue of game. Awesome fun. Massive learning curve. Good thing. I'm delighted to hear it. I like hearing these things that people are telling me about how my videos have actually affected them into positive actions, like building their own PCs, because they see how easy it is. Super awesome. The whole endeavour has been validated already. Because I'm 8 years old. You're correct. I'm from Somerset, and I do have a faint hint of West Country, and it's not going to go away, I don't think. Most of the time I don't notice it, but sometimes I do notice it, and sometimes other people notice it, as in this instance. That is the world of my accent. Red Orchestra 2. I did an interview for Ready Up with the Vice President of Tripwire, whom are making it. You can read if you're interested. It looks fucking awesome, it looks amazing. The new screenshots. Hub. I'm just generally incredibly excited for it, and I can't wait till it comes out. I don't know. Little from column A, little from column B. It's impossible to tell, really, isn't it? Yeah, I bought 13 games, and I'm gonna try and remember them now. I bought Super Street Fighter 4 Arcade Edition, but that wasn't in the sales, that was just a 4-pack, but it occurred during the sales, so I'm gonna say it. Okay, now the tough shit starts. Bit Trip Runner, The Witcher 2, Loom, Nick's Quest, Inside a Starfield Sky, Hamilton's Great Adventure, Magica, Syra, okay, there are 3 more that I can't remember. You can't see me. So I looked at your Steam and you played it for 1 hour. In the first hour, I think I was enjoying it. The thing with the game is that it's made a world that no other game really has, which is incredibly, I mean, I haven't played Fallout, but I still don't think it would do it as well, because it's polished. There's a thing about Stalker that it's not incredibly polished, and that's what lends itself incredibly well to the environment that needs to be created, which is post-apocalyptic wasteland. Everything's so fucking desolate. It's just, oh man, just the world that it is amazing, and whenever I play it, I haven't played it for ages, but you just get sucked in, and it just feels so affecting and awesome, and everything feels just like you can't trust anything in the game. I really like it. I think it's awesome, but if you're not enjoying it now, you might not ever. Sucks to be you. I've re-asked myself this question. The sin, I've done it because I forgot to say some things. I'm running a mod on mine, or was running a mod on mine, the 2009 Complete mod. I think they've brought out a new version of that, the 2012 mod, because they're ahead of us in time. And that makes that sort of as a graphical overhaul and better textures and things like that, so it's very worth doing. But another thing, I heard someone in a podcast once, I can't remember which podcast, so I just direct you to it, but he was talking about, he put on a realism mod, or the realism mod on his Stalker, and that means you have to be at a camp at night, basically, otherwise you will die, and you sleep through the night because it's just a shit time to be alive. But he was very weak because he'd run out of food, and you need food to survive in that, with the realism mod. And no one was giving him any food, so he sort of watched someone from the shadows. He watched them by the fire, and then he waited until they went to bed, and then he followed them into their tent and killed them and stole their food and ate it. And I think a game that makes somebody do that and feel guilt for it as well is a pretty great game. The fact that an 11-year-old is watching my videos and deciding that I might be a good source of advice is quite frankly worrying. I'm not a good person. I'm not acceptable in our society. This isn't okay. Don't do anything I say ever. But good luck. I hope someone else can help you. Those are just most of the questions I'm getting at the moment. You could ask me something else instead of just fucking bitching. I consider myself to be something of an outsider, because a lot of people like a lot of shit things, and I don't really like things that are shit. But there's also another part of it that is a human thing, and I see it, on the internet and in life. People like to like things collectively. They like to sort of homogeneously like things, and it kind of heightens. I mean, obviously there's a lot of conflict that goes on as well, but this is something I see. It sort of heightens their enjoyment of something when they're talking to a lot of people who like the same thing, or just some people. Whereas for me, I don't get any benefit out of that. If I like something, then I'll like it, and talking about it, whatever, okay. So I think I'm something of an outsider, but not in an isolated sense. Does that compute at all? I don't know if I'm making any sense at all, but have a grasshopper anyway. I really liked Puronage. It went a bit shit towards the end, but at the start it felt awesome to be watching Puronage. And there was nothing at all like it at the time, especially because there was so much PC stuff. When it kind of went away from the PC, it was a bit like, But I started watching their TV show that they had aired in Canada or something, and I liked it. I watched the first few episodes. I was like, yeah, this is alright. It was much better. I thought it was just going to be shit, but it was okay. But I haven't watched the rest of it, which I plan to sometime. So, although I do miss it and the time that it existed, I also have stuff from that time, well, from more recently, that I haven't seen yet, so I don't miss it as such. I'm not a good person for this because I don't find many things scary, because I'm fucking badass, obviously. I don't know, I just don't. So it wasn't scary to me. But I liked it. Anyway. I'm just going to give you the standard explanation that you've probably heard already. So, here's a 2D plane. Okay? On this 2D plane, you can have a reflection of a cube, and that's just your standard line drawing of a cube. But okay. So in that way, you can see the third dimension, kind of. If you have a comprehension of what 3 dimensions look like, then you'll understand what that drawing is. So in that way, from a 2D plane, you can view 3 dimensions. Similarly, from the 4th dimension, we can have a sort of... If you check out Hypercube, you have to see the Hypercube in 3D really, but I mean if you check out a picture, you'll sort of be able to gather it a bit. That's the equivalent of a line drawing of a cube, but of a hypercube, which is a 4th dimensional cube. And another thing to think about is that here's a 2D plane, and we're in 3D. So if we were to pass through this 2D plane, imagine there's some little flatlanders on here, living on their 2D plane. If I was to put my hand through like this, they would see rings, right, of my weird fingers coming through the page. I don't know if that makes sense. So somebody could theoretically, from the 4th dimension, pass through the 3 dimensions we have in a similar way, and we'd see like weird shit going on. I don't know if that's helpful at all. There's a really good book called... I don't remember what it's called. If you want to read it, then ask me this question again, and I will find out. Okay, it's called Surfing Through Hyperspace, Understanding Higher Universes in 6 Easy Lessons by Clifford A. Pickover. The cops are onto you though, so you better hurry up. I'm quite ragey, which lends itself well to the mass spree killing side of things, but I don't want to go to jail or die, essentially. So the methodical side of things, the serial killing angle, will probably help in those aims. But I mean, seriously, I don't think I have that sort of malicious foresight. I can't plan it out so strategically and surgically. It's just going to be a moment of abject insanity, so I think I'm just going to have to accept my fate of the mass spree killing shit. Not really. A bit. Kinda. I mean, I think I'm a bit of a bad person on the internet because it's more amusing to me personally. And that's an aspect of me. And also I think I'm kind of a bad person slightly in real life. Sometimes. So yeah, I'm horrible. The Pano. I'm really good at playing the Pano, it's just making other people hurt. I don't really know. I'd assume we're pretty confined, but assuming makes an ass out of you and me. So let's not do that. Like, a lot of maths and physics is just jerking off to me. Well, not jerking off, just partaking, as I've stated previously, in a particularly involving Sudoku puzzle. But maybe it'll get us somewhere. Maybe it'll get us nowhere. Maybe we'll be able to see, maybe we won't be able to see. It's the beauty of science, we don't know what the fuck. I've adjusted the camera so that we can check this out experimentally on the field in my bedroom. You can see the tip of my bed, but please ignore it, and just watch the glory that is me possibly touching my toes in a second. I'm pretty sure, yeah, you can't see my toes, so you're just going to take my word for it when I do it. Ready? I'm touching my toes. I actually am. Seems like a lie, but it's not. Unfortunately, that means you've just missed the best thing that's ever been on this thing. Whatever the fuck this is. I'm sorry. That's a no and a yes, respectively. You should research some of this stuff on youtube.com/coppercab. He clears a lot of things up. Gingers apparently actually do have souls, which I personally didn't know. I noticed that someone asked me how I cut my fringe before, it might have been you. But I was going to wait until I was going to cut it to show you, but fuck it doesn't seem to be happening. Basically, I get the scissors, and I get bits of my hair, and I do this with the scissors, sort of cut slowly and go upwards like this. So it sort of grinds along it and cuts it off at uneven angles, and just go along doing that with the scissors along like this. So it's all sort of kind of a similar length, but it doesn't really matter because it's going to the side anyway, so you can't actually tell either way. Yeah, that's my technical tips for you. Yeah. Not Rod Stewart. Oh no 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 no. Don't tell me it's not worth trying for. You can't tell me it's not worth dying for. You know it's true. Oh, everything I do it for you. What does this even mean? Does it mean like in the time I've been making videos you think my face has changed, or do you think I just have a general look of somebody who's had plastic surgery? Totally confusing. I've never had plastic surgery, believe it or not. Don't have that kind of money, for one thing. South Park. I really like The Simpsons. I like old Simpsons though, I don't like new Simpsons. I feel like it went to shit and they didn't care. I don't know, like, just went wacky as fuck. I understand that they had no storylines left, basically, because they've done everything in the world, but it's still, like, they could have stopped making it instead of just poof. But South Park I feel like it's had integrity throughout. Even when it's not funny, I don't hate it, and although the previous season wasn't hilarious, the final episode of that section series, I assume, was very good, and like just makes you The excitement scale for BF3 is sort of decreasing, like a point a month it seems. First, the like pre-order DLC kind of shit, didn't like that, splintering the community from an early juncture. Now the Origin stuff, not on Steam thing, don't know what the story is with that, but I don't like it. And I don't have much faith in EA, and I really want to play Red Orchestra 2, and that's far outweighing my excitement for Battlefield 3. But I hope it works out and is good, but it's just getting harder and harder to have faith that that's the case. Yeah, I saw this, it's gone now. Which is sad. I found out that I have a lazy eye from that thread. Everyone was very helpful, because knowledge is power. It's good for me to know these things. It's also good for me to know that I have a Jew potato nose. That's what I learned last time. I don't really care about Bear Grylls. It's partly to do with the fact that he was staying in a hotel when he said he was staying in the wild, and his integrity is just completely shot from that point on. But it's mostly because Ray Mears. I really like all the tips I got on the video. Yeah. The thing is, though, they laid some eggs, like, before I had the chance to do anything about them. I was gonna wait till the kids flew away, because I'm not that heartless, just semi-heartless. You can't be semi-less. Moving on. So I was waiting till the kids flew off, and the kids flew off, and it's like, sweet. But in the one-day window they left, there were already eggs laid. It's just like, oh, for fuck's sake, and I felt like I couldn't do anything about that, but they seem to have abandoned the eggs. Which they don't do, I'm telling you now. I've watched the life of several pigeons over several months. Well, these pigeons. And they like to sit on those eggs. They like to never leave them. But it seems that they want them dead as much as I do. Which is handy, but at the same time I don't know what to do. Suspended animation eggs? Or what the fuck? Can I just toss them into the street and sprinkle pepper and fairy liquid the whole place up, or is that... I don't know. BitTrip Runner is an amazing game. Have you played it? Shut the fuck up, really. That's what I'm saying to you now. Here, hi, bye. Yeah, I do wonder. Especially, like, I don't know if it's the same person asking lots of questions. I think often it is, or sometimes it is. But I don't fucking know. I wish there was some distinguishment, even if it was Anonymous 1, Anonymous 2. But then that would kind of sully the anonymity aspect, wouldn't it? You'd be matched with your other questions, even though I don't know who you are. But there's a way to build up a profile on you that way, isn't there? So yeah, I don't know who you are. Shift key makes me feel like it's an effort, you know. I don't like this dual wielding of keys. It seems disingenuous to me. At least that way I could tell people that I once ate my neighbour's children. I think it'd be pretty fucked up, but I am tempted. My song of the now is Wolves at the Door by David Bazan. Before I called him Paul Bazan in another video. I'm very sorry, David. Your name is clearly David. David Bazan, Wolves at the Door. I have it lower than I used to have it. It's difficult to tell about like an objective mouse sensitivity scale because there's like the innate sensitivity level on the mouse with the plus and minus buttons where it's DPI, but it works in a similar way. And then there's like Windows sensitivity, the base, and then that's kind of low. And then games as well. You said it, I said it. So I don't know where I would lie on the old objective scale. Because when you go on old people's computers, it's like, it's hard work getting across the screen, and that's like a million miles away from what I am at. But yeah, I used to think it was really good to have high sensitivity in FPS, and I've since realised that's completely wrong. There's much more of a margin of error when you have it on extremely high sensitivity, and you get more... It's easier to learn how far distances are on your hand matte compared with the pixel space world. I'm really tired. Sometimes I do sad faces, and sometimes I do winking faces. Sad faces when I'm sad, winking faces when I'm using it for comic effect of some ilk. In the case of me and my hands, which are bigger than my whole face, yeah, I think it's weird. It depends why you're doing physics. If you're doing physics because you want to have fun in class, then yeah, fuck it. But if you want to do it at uni, then you should carry on doing it. I feel like if you have an interest in physics, not doing it just because there's 3 girls in there, you could bang them all. Remember that. You might regret that. You might regret not doing it just because there's 3 girls, that's what I'm saying. I don't think you'll regret banging them at all. I didn't get the memo on this guy, but whatever. I choose Smiley Joker scar on one side of the mouth because that's like nothing. It completely wins. Not really, no, because I always hear bad things about Crossfire and SLI, that a lot of games, a lot of games don't work with it, can't utilise it very well. It only has a frame rate increase of like marginal percentage and doesn't seem worth it. I'd rather just get a more beefed up card. Whoa, whoa, whoa. What blue dye did I use? I used Blue Velvet by Special Effects and also Wild Flower by Special Effects. I think I sort of mixed them sometimes, or sometimes Blue Velvet's really dark blue, but if you after you've bleached your hair, it's often not, it's not white, so if you put a really dark blue on it, it's super dark, but then it will stay blue for longer even if you lighten the colour a bit later. No, never. I don't really treat them. Sometimes I squeeze them. That's about it. Apparently I look like a sloth. And in order to imitate a sloth, you do this. Are you ready? Abort mission immediately. Down the stairs. With a coat hanger. No. It amazes me that anyone would think it was possible. Literally the only reason I did it is because I enjoy it. I wasn't thinking of any career or anything. I just thought it was like the epitome of a challenge and something that was very interesting to me as well. I think that's a pretty good reason to do it, actually. But if you have a career-oriented thing as well, it's probably even more of a good choice. I don't think you're really missing out on much, but there's a lot of questions now. I say questions like questions. I know this every time, but it's just an automatic thing. Oh man. No, I should at least finish saying something. I think if you could see them, though, it would be an entirely different website. It would be more of a message board kind of thing. Comments. Shall I stop doing this now because it's going all the way down a very long hill? So this is in response to me talking about, I can't actually remember what I said, but I think it's something about I'm a pseudo-solipsist. So that's just regular solipsism, what you talk about. But pseudo-solipsism is where you realise it's not true, but you tune into that frame of mind anyway, for kicks. I like this because when you talk with these in, your voice is like all-encompassing. Do you know, my ears were blocked completely with wax once, and all I could hear was my own voice, essentially. I'd talk more about that, but it's kind of gross, so I'll actually answer the question that I clicked on. PC isn't all that. I like the just lack of anti-PC inherent in that sentence. Like, someone saying something isn't all that. You're not even saying it's bad. It's the most timid and weak. I don't know, maybe it's an actual sentiment that you feel. But you know what? You're wrong. I use Vegas Video for video editing because it's pretty intuitive. I've never had to, well, not really. Occasionally maybe look something up, how to do something. Usually you can figure it out just from looking through menus and stuff, which I like. Like, I tried Adobe Premiere once and was just like, what the fuck? I don't know, maybe if I tried it now after trying Vegas Video for a while, I'd be able to, but I don't know. It just seemed rather baffling and not immediately obvious what was going on. And I'm not into that. So yeah, Vegas Video. Sony Vegas Video is why I use that. It's good, if it works, it's fine. Audio editing, Audacity. I haven't really strayed from Audacity, which is like free. Not that I paid for Vegas Video, come on. And image editor, Photoshop. But I don't really, well, can't really think of anything you've possibly seen that I've done on Photoshop. But I do use it sometimes for photos of things. I don't like inverted, okay? I'm just gonna say that. You know, there's somebody I know who comes to my house, and they might play a game on my computer, and they might change that. They might invert it, and I don't appreciate that ever. Thanks so much for making everything in the world wrong. And I've heard the arguments for it, and even I kind of understand them a bit. Like, I can understand that bringing the mouse down to go for the headshot is kind of feels a bit better than going up in some ways, but I'm not into it at all. And the argument about you move your neck back, so you should know. Just know. It sounds sort of militaristic, like the debris left over from firing a cannon or something. I'm gonna look it up. It depends a lot on context and rationale. Did you do it just because you thought it would be fucked up and like weird? Or did you do it because you were actually sexually aroused? Context is crucial in answering this question. After mentioning the fact I'd bought a ticket for this show and saying it on VU and then getting a message from you saying, so are you going? I purposely didn't answer it because I thought it would be weird as fuck if people showed up just because they knew I was going to be there. So, I don't know, there was a bunch of guys on their own there, and every guy who looked at me or anything, I just assumed they knew I was there and they knew who I was on the internet. Or, like, I thought at least one of them would have done, or did, but nobody seemed to. So, phew, that would be weird. But yeah, it was awesome. I had a really great time. Fun band. And they were saying, like, in America they don't get anything like the same audience as they do in the UK, which is always really weird to hear and funny. Don't live in Elephant and Castle. I think that's one of the worst moves you can make. I mean, in my experience of being in London, Elephant and Castle is particularly no man's land-ish in my mind, although, you know, the bowling alley is fucking amazing. But, and otherwise, Hackney Wick is one of the most depressing places in the world, apart from, you know, the location in Stalker. Those are kind of vaguely comparable, except obviously the textures are much better in Stalker. Yeah, I do call them pips. Although not when in grapes. In grapes it's always seeds for some reason, I think because you can buy them seedless. And that's embedded in my mind. Seeds. Grapes. Seeds. And you know what, when you're away they don't say seeded, no. Whenever I'm away, I always end up buying grapes and forgetting every time that they're full of shit. In Europe, they think it's weird that we can actually buy grapes here. That, I mean, someone watching this video is probably from somewhere in Europe and just thinking I'm an absolute, I don't know anything, because where they're from, they can get seedless grapes because they're not peasants. But okay, in peasant lands, and if you're in a peasant land without seedless grapes, then yeah, you're a peasant. I'm not gonna backtrack on that one. I always forget, and then they're full of shit, and it's saddening. I remember sitting on a step in Spain. Where was it? I remember exactly what the street looked like. I think it was Seville. And I sat on a step to eat my grapes, and carefully, you know, got out all the fucking seeds, and was placing them carefully on the step. And then a guy came out of the door who lived there. And he was not happy with my existence or the existence of those seeds. I was gonna take them on my way, my merry way, but he couldn't foresee that. Anyway, he shouted a lot, but I couldn't understand what the fuck he was saying, so I was safe. So yeah, pips, when they're in fruit most of the time, but seeds when they are or are not in grapes. Pip pip. Yeah, I am super tired. My tiredness seems to sort of carry over days. Like, it just does. That's what it does. It's what I like to do. So yesterday I moved out of London town and didn't get enough sleep. I got like 4 hours sleep. And actually yesterday I felt alright. But today, forget it. Forget about it immediately. So yeah, I'm sleepy as fuck. But the night is young. So maybe I'll have some cup of tea and some cake and some wakey, play some games. Because at the moment I'm like, don't even have the strength to double click on a game on Steam. Which is a sad state of affairs. Please no. Diddy. Hello. He's a dog. Come and say hello. He's a dog. See, come on. You can see us, alright. Hello, dog. Dogs. You're a dog. You're a fucking dog. It's amazing. We're astounded. Jake. Come here. That's some severe disinterest going on there. Anyway, just come and say hi and we can shake hands. We can shake hands instead, because that's far more civilized. I don't think they're comparable in the slightest. It's my dog that I've had for 12 years. 12 years. Or a stranger at a game expo who wants to hug me for no other reason than they've seen me on the internet. That's weird. And although maybe there is a slight peppering of autism on the meal that is me, I don't think that's making itself apparent in my response to that. I turned the light on for this response and everything. This is my bow, and I'm going to show you how to string it. So you have to step through it here, like that, and then this bit goes over your leg, and you pull this bit down, and there's a bow for you to pull. I haven't really done much archery since I was at Sussex, because they had a archery club there, and then when I moved unis they didn't have an archery club the first year. They do now, but they always meet at really stupid times when I'm busy. So I only ever really shoot my bow when I'm back here in the countryside and can go into fields and stuff. Like last summer I went into a field and just shot all my arrows as high and far as they would go, and it was super awesome. I really liked being in the archery club though, because the archery guy there always talks about how amazing my form was and it made me feel awesome. But I always feel like I should really try hard to get back into it, but I'm always really busy during school, and I don't. Plus my arrows have mysteriously disappeared. I feel like I might have left them in the previous flat, but I feel like they would have phoned me and said, "Yeah, Rose, you left your arrows," because we have like no use for them. It's weird, but I very much like my bow. You can get bows that are more expensive with sights and things, but I prefer bare bow, and I really like Korean bows too. So that's my bow story. Has this happened? Is this you? I'd like to know if it is. Not because I'm gonna beat you down or anything. Like, I wouldn't feel betrayed. I'd feel weird and it would be quite funny. But I wouldn't feel like, you know, I could understand it, because I might do the same in a similar position. So yeah, if this is true, let me know. If it's a hypothetical, also let me know. Because I quite like to keep on top of that shit, knowing who knows what. Although I did find out yesterday that my mum has watched my videos, which is extremely fucking weird. It's like Barbie, but with a weird... oh my god. I'm not into it, I gotta say. Like, it's impressive that there's the waist and shit going on, and totally looks like a chick. A very Barbie chick, but yeah, weird face and everything. It just looks like, okay, this chick's had a lot of plastic surgery, but it's just flapping around. Shiny worm. And, it's completely repulsive to me, but I know a lot of people like that shit. So, I don't really know what more to say about that. It's amazing that I was able to give somebody some sort of advice. I didn't even feel like it was very coherent, but that you've gone away and you've done what I said and it doesn't look shit. That's awesome. Looks good. Thanks for the link. I'm fulfilled. Was never a goal of mine, but I feel completely fulfilled in every one of my chakras. Just ate some cake, and that was a good time. Thank you for the link. Why would you say that? Why would you ever say that? Doesn't it hurt your soul? Because it certainly hurts mine. I've been gifted 2 games ever. One was Shatter when it was on sale, and one was The Secret of Monkey Island Special Edition. I don't want to be gifted games from random people on the internet. And that's not something that has ever or will ever appeal to me. I have bought all my own games over a period of 7 years and built up a delicious collection. And yeah, I'm really not one of those people, and nor will I ever be. I don't pirate PC games because I want more PC games to be made. And the people who make those games deserve my money. This isn't true at all. I don't know if you're lying or genuinely mistaken. I just hope that other people have been stalking me to a slightly higher caliber than you've managed to, and can verify at least to themselves that this isn't true. The problem is that I already own like all of the games that I would want to own. I don't know, maybe the crayon thing. I'll have a look at that. But it just seems, I don't want to then like throw off the average income because I'm just paying for one game because I already own them all. So it's like, yeah, maybe I'll just wait for a sale if it looks good. Yeah, I kind of want to. I just saw that Osmos got added today or yesterday, and that was fucking awesome. I love Osmos. So anybody watching this, check out Humble Indie Bundle 3. I want to make a video for Osmos anyway, so I might try and do that before it runs out. Okay, so the next time you're playing a game with them, just open up the message window and type CYBER ? And see where it goes from there. There's such an incalculable amount of Minecraft videos on YouTube. I don't think that there needs to be any more. And Terraria. It's like oversaturation on both those fronts, plus I'm not really interested. So I'm sorry to everyone asking for this. I don't know why you're asking for it, because it's fucking everywhere. I don't really know how to feel about school at the moment. Like, it gets to this point and I sort of look forward to it, because I don't remember how much it sucks out of me when it's happening. So yeah, I have like the non-jaded perspective at the moment, because I'm not there. And I'm trying at the moment to decide whether to do a 3-year or 4-year course, so next year could be my last year if I go 3-year. And I just want something to push me in one direction or the other. I don't know what to do, and now it's like, oh, the economy's complete fuck again. So maybe I'll just stick it out for the 4 years and hope it's better when I come out. I don't know what to do. I need to decide really soon. The thing is, I don't know how it happened. Like, at the time I was living in a house that was really moist. Like, there's a video of me talking about how the windows drip and I have to put towels down to suck up condensation. The room was just insanely damp and got mold everywhere. It was kind of fucking gross. But yeah, I don't know if that's why, because it hasn't happened since and it never happened before, but I got completely blocked ears. I couldn't hear anything apart from my own voice quite loudly. So my own voice, you know when you wear these like pluggy plug ears and you can just hear your own voice really loud and basically nothing else. That's what it was like. So I'd be talking, hello, how are you? People would be like, what? And I just feel like I was shouting, but I wasn't. So then I went and got my ears syringed, and it's not a syringe, it's a fucking watery pneumatic drill on your eardrum, and you have to hold a cup like this, and it all comes out, and it's fucking delicious. You look at it floating, and it's like, oh yeah, I'm so glad that that was inside of my ear. My ear made that for some reason. It's, you have a delicious a draft of it, and you get sent on your merry way. And everything was so loud afterwards. A car went by, and I went, because it was so overbearing. I couldn't imagine anything being that loud in the world, and it was. It was actually pretty awesome. I enjoyed the whole thing immensely. You don't sound crazy at all. You seem like a really, really nice guy. I was extremely annoyed that I missed that. Buh. I'm not in London anymore, so no one can steal me from a JGB Sports, hit me with a baseball bat, or set me on fire. It's a bit shit. It's been delayed by 2 weeks, but apparently the open beta has not been delayed, so all is not lost. Hooray. I've been accused of it, but I can see 3D. Thank fuck for that. I like the fact that you've gone for the name Higher Caliber Stalker. It's pretty good. I like the fact that you've gone for the name Higher Caliber Stalker. It's pretty good. I don't think that a low IQ union will necessarily lead to, in a nature sense, a low IQ offspring. But the nurture side of things, I think, has a grave effect on the resultant humanoid. And that's an issue that I don't know how to face, because the thing is, when you start talking about things like this, you end up sounding like a massive Nazi. So, you know, maybe I shouldn't talk about maybe the fact that maybe the world is pretty fucking overpopulated and maybe certain people shouldn't be allowed to have kids, because that sort of thing is rather hard to decide upon and then regulate fairly. So no, it's not necessarily wrong, but I think kids being brought up in environments that are bad because of bad parenting, which is often an offshoot of some form of stupidity, is wrong. My handwriting depends entirely on the kind of pen I am using at the time. So these pens, and pens of their ilk, with the... can't see that really, can you? But maybe you can understand what it is, even though you can't really see it. So yeah, the sort of fine liners, they make me write well. My handwriting is legible and even kind of nice with them. But as soon as you give me a pen in which I can write speedily, it goes to shit very, very quickly. So I guess I'm somewhere in the middle of those two possibilities, depending on which pen I'm currently holding. The game that I've been playing on Steam that won't tell you what it is a very good game. I use the TI-83 Plus. This is very interesting, I'm sure, to everybody watching this currently. And I use the FX85ES, I think it is, when I'm taking exams. Because although last year I used my TI-83 Plus in exams, but then in one exam, because you have to write in the front of the exam paper what calculator you were using, and I wasn't quite clear on whether I was allowed it or not, but it was like, okay, everything seems fine. And then in the middle of one, somebody came up to me and said, no, you're not supposed to No, you're not supposed to use that, you're not supposed to have it. And I was like, oh fuck. And I thought, I was really scared for quite a while that my exam results are going to come back and they're going to say, like, disqualified because you're using a beefy calculator. But that didn't happen. But this year I didn't use it just because I was fucking afraid that might happen and it would be the shittest thing ever. But you know, that kid with the A4 crib sheet paper, come on, calm the fuck on. I can't even get over it. Anyway, to answer your question, Texas Instruments TI-83+. I had an aftermarket cooler for my previous build, which I was hoping to transfer over, but it's a dick. Like, when I first installed it on my old motherboard, it was incredibly difficult to get it on. It was like, forceful. Hella forceful, bad times. Pushing hard, feeling like I was going to break it, but I was like, I'm doing something wrong. It's nothing to do with this stupid piece of shit. It's me. I just don't know how to do it right. But no, it was a stupid piece of shit, as I came to realise when I was trying to put it on my new motherboard, and it wasn't going. Because it warped the fuck out of my motherboard when I first put it on. But I was like, I guess it's fine. And it did seem fine. Like, my temperatures were fine on my old PC. But yeah, I was, in my video I even specified that I was going to get another heatsink, but fine. Yeah, I'm going to get the Cooler Master Hyper 212 Plus, but I haven't done it yet, because it looks like a bit of a hassle. It's like, oh jeez. And also, the longer I wait, the more, when I do get it, it feels like a legitimate upgrade, because I can then overclock my CPU, and it feels like magic all over again. So I will probably do that within the next month. Yep. I did try out, and thanks very much, viewer, because you can now go to ve3d.ign.com and see a preview for Hard Reset that I wrote for the site. Awesome. No, I actually left London about a week or 2 weeks before the riot started. I had nothing to do with it, but yeah, I leave London every summer because I can't really afford to pay rent for the whole of summer when there's no real good reason to. Especially as when you're in London, you just bleed money constantly. So it does mean, again, I have to go back in September to find somewhere new to live and to go through the irritating process of like screening people and trying to find someone on Gumtree who seems to be saying that basically no one's going to talk to you and they're going to leave you alone, because that appeals to me big time, so wish me luck. I think it's Primer. Sorry, Primer. P-R-I-M-E-R. I realise that the way I talk can greatly confuse some people. It's a very good film about time travel. I'm sure I've talked about it before on here, because I've talked about it before everywhere else in the world, so I don't see why this place would be any different. Good film. Well, I mean, she's blonde, and I'm blonde. We both have the same colour hair, is what I'm saying, so there's that. I don't play League of Legends, but I just looked her up, and I can see that we definitely have the same colour hair. I like that you asked this after seeing me answer about World of Warcraft. Yeah. Anything can change the nature of a man. I think suffering works to make people more interesting, and anything else has negative or positive effects, depending. Is it important? Is that important? Which banal biscuit do you prefer? I don't know. I'm so ambivalent to both of these biscuits that I find it difficult to put one anywhere, let alone ranking them. Well, I mean, they're fundamentally different biscuits, aren't they? Because digestives are savoury, or they pretend to be and are successful enough, whereas custard creams, in the opposite direction, they pretend to be but aren't really a sweet biscuit. If right this instant I had the option of a digestive or a custard cream, I think I would choose the digestive. But that was a hard thing to call right then. I have acquired unlimited monetary funds with which to pursue whatever personal endeavours I so desire. For 1 week? Good grief. How did that happen? Well, I guess I'll be off to spend a shitload of money and pursue the endeavours that I so desire. Pleasure talking. Views being a dick, man. Don't know why. Just let me do this, I know the ship's sinking. I'm on the ship. I'm aware of its downward trajectory, but let's just try to work together for the last moments. Thanks. I appreciate it. Yeah, I'll do it again. I'll do it again sometime. Don't know when, but I'm sure it's gonna happen. It's just a waiting game. Let's wait for the game. No, the game is the waiting. We're in the game now. This is the game. I prefer Lord of the Rings. He's the Ring Lord. The Eye of Sauron, it's watching you now. Don't ever say your favourite movie is The Matrix. The Matrix is a good film, however. If you just watch the first one in isolation with blinkers, avoiding any and all eye contact with the other two shitfests, and also putting out of your mind the fact that Will Smith was the first pick for Neo, which I just can't imagine on any level. Well, The Dark Knight Rises was shit. Terribly disappointing shit, because I really enjoyed The Dark Knight in a cinema in Slovenia? Yeah. Ljubljana. Although I don't know if it was Ljubljana, because I took a bus fucking miles out. It can't have been that far actually, because I walked back. God, what are you doing? This webcam, what do you do? What do you want me to do with this window? You want me to... Okay, fine, let's zoom in. And move. Yeah, you like that? I think everyone likes to see that light. Let's just leave it on that for a minute, eh? I'm still using the Logitech illuminated keyboard, which I really like. I'm tempted by mechanical keyboards, but I just they're kind of squat and they're tall, and I like scissor switch because it's, I don't know, something nice about it, something that pleases me beyond what mechanical keyboards do. So ideally I'd have both, but I don't have both yet. Yeah, I do feel partially / completely responsible, because on multiple occasions people who work at VU have emailed me and said, why didn't you come back? You should come back. Come back. And I've intended to. Every time I said, yeah, sure, I'll be back soon. See you then. And I haven't done it, and look what's happened in my absence. It's done fucked. The ship's sinking. Ship's fucking going, man. Ain't nothing I can do about it. I am immensely buoyant, so if I'd been here at the right time, I could have just laid underneath the ship and would have been fine, you know? Alas, the truth of the matter is I can't swim, and VU's going down. I age and VU dies on precisely the same day, so maybe that means in some way or another it will be born anew into me and be usable as a platform on the internet. I sure hope so, because I enjoy this thing. I think it's great. I don't understand why it failed. I guess it failed. I guess they couldn't find a way to adequately monetize it. I know that it's going to carry on as a commercial product, but goddamn, Steve Spurgatt, at least make another website that's exactly the same as this one that I can use. For God's sake. And that's all I have to say on the matter. This is not a comfortable fit. Trust me, you weren't expecting this, were you? Yeah. This happened, and I can only express my shame and my shitness. Oh. I seen 3 men hanging from a sycamore. Their bodies are still feathered 2 by 4, and their heads were tilted down towards the ground. And it ain't been long since they've been up there, that their bodies seem cold hanging in that air. And they might have froze before the news got to them. Get on with it. Put off the fuss, you chicken shit. Get on with it. Can't you see it's time to quit? Oh, Scratches dealt us a dirty hand. He had the look of a saint, but the greed of a man in his face was worn and wrinkled like a leather book. And if I put this revolver to my head, will death turn against me instead of taking pity on a broken man? I think I'm probably out of time. Oh, you're still here? Well, shit, maybe I could have got through some of the chorus, but, not today. More game tips are coming. More game tips will come. One day, one fine day, maybe it'll be the day that YouTube decides it's shutting down. No, it will be soon. I will inundate. Let's face it, I'm never going to inundate. Maybe one day I'll inundate. But there will be more games tips like Osmos, please. If I say it, it will be true. The fact that anybody would be talking to their wife Janet about me overwhelms any reaction I might have otherwise had. Oh, Janet, is she dreamy? Is she a dreamboat? Wife Janet. I think you should take up CS again. CSGO is very fun and has a few really cool game modes that are kind of just riffing on old game modes, but nonetheless riffing well. But TF2 is kind of, nah, don't do that. The thing with Raoul's honey is that there's so many variations, and I'm not sure why do you need so many variations of honey. It's honey, for God's sake. So I bought a honey because I didn't know what to do when I was confronted by all the honeys, and you know, it was rubbish. It was no good. But I feel like my my honey connoisseurship is maybe higher than others because I've always had a diet of whenever I've had honey, it's been good quality honey is what I'm saying, that I haven't bought. But now you know, for a while now I've been living out on the streets, buying my own Raoul's honey and being constantly disappointed by its mediocrity. It's a tough life. No, they're gone forever, or at least until Joe, I don't know, maybe when they're old they'll do stuff again, but Joe is big in Hollywood now. Adam tries, oh god. Just had the idea that Adam might one day watch this video. Adam, I fucking love you, man, but you need to, no, you don't need to do anything, you just need to do what you enjoy. Please do what you enjoy. I like to see you enjoy yourself. I hope you enjoy yourself. I want to see you do what you want to do. How many times can I say this in a row? Adam, I'm not religious, but I'll pray for you. The audiobook thing still is massively appealing to me, but I don't know where I'd put such a thing, like where that would be relevant on the internet. What I like about videos, I can put basically anything here. Not an audiobook, because there's a 2-minute limit, but maybe I need some kind of old style, like Grandpa used to have, home page, like a proper old fashioned home page, and just a bunch of stuff. Maybe I'll do that, and that will have just like a page in a frame with audiobooks in a list or something. I don't know. I've read Steppenwolf. I haven't read The Trial, so maybe I'll do The Trial. I don't know. Maybe. One day it's bound to happen, right? A great deal of popcorns have been eaten. I love popcorn. It's delightful. It's like magic. Has everybody seen that gif where popcorn pops? I hope so. If not, search for it now and then eat some. I like to eat the whole bag while I sit weeping in my bedroom. My latex skills are top drawer. Top drawer. Top drawer. In a variety of I generally use front ends for latex, so I guess they're not that top drawer. But yeah, man, latex. I'm hard science. Hard science is who I am. Well, I've read pretty much all Vonnegut. I haven't read any Heinlein. Robert Heinlein. I know he wrote Starship Troopers, and that's intriguing, although I don't know if it has the same bent on it as the film. Because if not, I don't know. What is interesting about Starship Troopers in book form? Please tell me. And recommend me a book I should read by Mr. R. Heinlein. Thank you. Kinda no, kinda maybe, not really, no, maybe. The thing that I don't like about stream stuff is that people feel the need to talk a lot. And somebody actually asked me what I think about Let's Plays, and it's the same thing. People feel the need to fill dead air. And I can understand that, because I've made some Let's Plays. And any Let's Plays I want to make in the future, I don't want to care or be scared of the dead air. The dead air's fine. It's okay. But I think there's, especially live streaming where there is no editing, I don't know. I see people live streaming and it's like, who are you, man? You're fucking boring. But if they were trying to be pepped the whole way, then I don't think I'd find that very enjoyable either. So I think it's a tricky one. Doesn't really appeal to me very much, but haven't completely wiped out of the optional avenues. I considered it briefly, but unfortunately I'm incredibly intolerant and easily annoyed, and being in a situation where I was trying to explain something to someone, and I had a really bad teacher in primary school, and if you didn't understand anything, she'd just shout. I remember her trying to teach everybody long division, and her method was just writing it on the board and then just saying, "What don't you understand?" while stabbing the board with a piece of chalk. And at the time I was like, what's wrong with this woman? But in reality I think that would be my method, so I don't think I'm suited to it in the least. I picked up a telescope at a village fair once, and it was £10, and it was £10 for a reason. It didn't really do jack shit and was incredibly blurry and disappointing, although I had some fun with it for half an hour. I'd like a telescope, but London is not the place to have a telescope, sadly. Oh Jesus! It just froze framed on the most amazing face that caused me to almost choke on my own spittle. I don't have a music playlist, or at least not one online. That could be on the Shitty homepage though. Where do Shitty homepages go now? I feel like what I really need is like a Shitty homepage which is just like a prefix onto like something, like not a domain name, but something that has like my name, shitty prefix, my shitty prefix, domain name, whatever, .com.au, whatever I can get that's shitty and free for my shitty homepage. This kind of went off on a answer no. Maybe someday. Maybe. Raising the scientific roof there. I might do some science videos, I don't know. The idea is appealing, but ambitious. So we'll see where those two things align, and I'll consider your request. I don't know which bird you're referring to, but still there. Get a bit of the old. Bit of the old. Why not, Why not? I'm currently reading Frankenstein by Mary Shelley. She wrote this book when she was 19. What a bitch. I got it from a bookshop on Charing Cross Road, and when I bought it, the guy said, "Oh, customer, we don't get many of them." It's basically the only shop on Charing Cross Road where you can pick up a book for £2, and I overheard them talking about how they're probably going to be shutting at the end of the month. And that was about a month ago, so they might be gone by now. Death of the High Street. I actually bought this webcam from a shop, from a real shop, and it was the same price as they are on the internet. What the fuck? It was the biggest novelty of my week. Amazing. Well, I spent 6 months making OLEDs, so I guess that's it. Like I guess so. To make an OLED, what you have to do is you get a substrate, well, preferably multiple substrates that are roughly the size of this, and you clean them for 2 hours. You clean them for 2 hours. For 2 hours they are cleaned, and then you make them in that machine that's in the background of the video I made. 2 hours cleaning, man! That goes against everything I've ever believed in. I had a few questions like this. What the fuck is this? What is this shit doing? Good questions, pat head. This website's fucking stupidly done. Stupidly laid out. Stupidly conceptualized. It should just be ask a question and it will be answered in a video. Excessive hand gestures. Instead of that, it's like, hey, type something here, something will happen. No, it won't happen, because I probably haven't recorded a relevant answer. But of course now I have. I see the magic of it, but no one's going to ever answer enough questions that it becomes workable. It's just going to be potluck, Jiminy Jam. Should just be Formspring with video. Yep. World of Warcraft is ... depressing. Spend your game time on something, you know, slightly different. Maybe not quite such a massive waste of endless time. Play a fun game. Do it. I advise. Possibly, it's a possibility that at some point I've done that, but I don't feel that that's something that would ever be worthy of a memory. I'm sorry to Teesside, but I think that's just the way it is and the way it's always going to be. CS Office I have difficulty with, in that I never learn from my mistakes. I always go left, and it depends. Okay, so when you go left, you have two options. You have through the window, smashty smash, nice sounds, or down the stairs. Down the stairs is a bit of a, because there's that little window that they can see through and they can get you on. But then if you go by the door, basically you're at a disadvantage that end, no matter what. I mean, anyway, sometimes I get lucky and sometimes I don't get lucky. And when I'm not getting lucky, I don't generally think, hey, yeah, I'll go the other way, that seems like a good move right now. I just keep doing it. So, if you ever saw anybody do that at, on the University of Teesside server, then maybe it was me. Couldn't tell you. I see this kind of thing quite a lot on View. I don't know why it is. I think maybe it's to make some people look a bit stupid. So, it's kind of like trying to read an Italian menu for me. I'm gonna do it because, you know, I'm Wacky Rose. That's the kind of shit I do. If it's whack, don't hold me back. Ska hair luta friggle macacacacacacatula boolero. I already know I did things wrong. I probably didn't say caca enough, and I ended it on a caca instead of cacac. And I notice that as it's happening, and I can only apologise for those oversights. I have the dinosaur, somewhere maybe, that you have seen. And I have some things. I have a great pig mask that's rubber, and a great pig in general, in mask-esque-ness. And I like it. And for Halloween, it wasn't Halloween, in fact. It was something dressed as an animal thing. And I bought it, and I very nearly bought, to go with, to enmesh with the pig head mask rubber-esque-ness, a spacesuit, so that I could be a space pig. But I couldn't quite validate the purchase of the space costume because it was about £10 and I'd already spent about that on this mask that is fucking great. But I can't actually wear it for long periods of time because I already feel, because I have quite a small voice, I'm going to probably go on for too long on this, I have quite a small voice and people generally don't hear me in situations like parties, and I feel quite far removed as a result, and I have to sort of uncomfortably talk loudly, and I don't particularly like it. Add into this scenario a pig rubberized-esqueness between you and everyone, and it just creates a much more isolationist approach to the world that I don't particularly thrive on. So I generally haven't kept it on for very long. Apparently this is now in the too long category of response, so I'm gonna end it. I actually have some kind of choice about how long the torture stretches into the temporal horizon, and I'm not entirely sure which way I'm going to take it. Is it going to be 1.5 years extra, 1.5, or is it going to be 2.5 years extra of torturous hell, pain, fire? I don't know. I'm going to see how I feel at the end of this year, and then reassess the situation. I think with this question you were implying that I was furiously jacking off with the other hand. Unfortunately this isn't the case. I was actually orchestrating a small musical. Oh, Wacky Rose! Back in full effect for another area of the internet. Whee! Guided tour of what? Of this knife. This knife has honey on it. You might be able to see, yep, you can indeed see the honey. It's sort of, you know, secured in place by these 3 silver things that hold it in place. It has a burn mark along it. That's irresponsible. I don't know who did that. It wasn't me. I only just moved in. You can't shoulder that blame onto me. Generally speaking, it's okay. It doesn't really work for cutting many things. I tried to cut pizza with it. It's a bit shit for that. Honey is not that great for spreading honey because it's really thin. Needs a wash, obviously, and I think that's all I really have to say about this knife. Next time, be more specific / less boring. I don't watch Doctor Who. Come on, a space pig is not restricted to a TV show in which a doctor is who. No, space pig stands alone and true as a possibility. Fucking Doctor Who. Okay, let's break this down. Why? What is it you get out of that? If you get something out of that, think about it in your brain, in your mind, ruminate on that fact, and just reconsider your options, and maybe just don't ask that question again. It has been said on more than one occasion that my eyes are too far apart and my face is squished into a very small localization, like a sloth. Whether or not this is true, let's not even think about it. Other factors, my massive hands with stupid long fingers, I'm a freak. Head and hands, a little bit of a problem going on. Other things, I'm a bit small. Take from that what you will. I'm small, like a midget. A tall midget. A tall midget. That's probably the title I should use from now on. Things are wrong. Things are going on that are untoward. But let's move on and leave that behind. This sounds like a dick thing to say, but I'm not really scared of anything. Mostly it's because I think I consider myself an immortal, and as such nothing can touch me. I'm generally aware of certain possibilities and don't like the outcome that they would give rise to, but I'm not scared of them. I just am aware of them sometimes and have to, walk fast and avoid eye contact on occasion in order to avoid them. But scared? No. Because I will never die. I actually play as a soldier, generally speaking, in TF2. So I am, in fact, the deliverer, generally, of a motherfucking crit rocket. I don't feel great about the crit system. I don't particularly like it. When I kill someone, it feels great. I use the direct hit, so it's kind of like insta-gib when you do it right, and that's pretty grand. But when I realise it's because of a crit that the person's died, I don't feel particularly satisfied any longer. I think it's a system that's been introduced. Well, it's a system that's been introduced for noobs to level the playing field, and I'm never a proponent of that sort of behaviour. So I agree, motherfucking crit rockets. I'm sorry if I was ever the one to deliver them unto you. My number one recommendation for people who want to learn about anything remotely academic but don't know much about it is to download Teaching Company lectures. The Teaching Company is a company who teach on video. Fortunately for us, that video is then distributed throughout the world of torrents. So you can stop with the hands. You can get hold of Teaching Company lectures on any number of things. Alex Filipenko does some really good astrophysics-y ones that I would recommend, and just generally books, popular science even on the subject, and get your fingers, no, stop hands, just get your head into it and enjoy it. I don't like it, I've got used to it. When I first heard my voice, the first times I heard my voice, it was horrible and dreadful and disgusting, but it's just because you don't know your voice. You only hear your voice inside your head, and your voice sounds entirely different and generally cooler inside of your own head than when you hear it played back to you. And that doesn't mean it's a bad voice, it just means you're not used to it and it's weird. So, you get used to it, and then it's okay. Kinda. The non-specificity of this question hurts me, pains me somewhat. Do you mean in terms of objects, or concepts, or I don't know, I'm going to go with objects because that's easier for me to answer. I value my computer the most. Maybe that's wrong. Maybe that is, objectively the wrong thing to value the most, but for me, when I think about losing things, losing my computer, not just the computer that I paid for, but just the idea of my own PC, that has more value to me than anything else, I think. Take from that what you feel like taking from it. And you know that scene in Garden State? I don't know if you've seen Garden State. It's a scene where Natalie Portman, the kooky chick, does a little dance and makes a stupid fucking noise, because that's something nobody has ever done before, and she feels really unique. That's the kind of thing I don't ever want to be, and that's the kind of reason I'm not gonna do a little dance. It depends what kind of fame. If it's the kind of fame where people are gonna come up to me in the street and talk to me and be like, I recognize you, probably be a bit awkward. When I mentioned this in a YouTube video, but it actually happened to me when I was in Spain. Somebody came up to me because they recognized me from the internet, and that was super weird. and if it happened on a regular basis, I walk around London sometimes and just think, shit, somebody could recognise me and then they could come and talk to me. It's probably unlikely, but I was in Spain in a hostel full of Spanish people, and an English guy happened to be there and happened to recognise me. So it's a bit unsettling to think about the possibility, and I don't think I'd like it. So depends what kind of fame. If it's that kind of fame, probably not too well. I'd like to be some kind of consultant on a video game. I'd like every video game, or a lot, or the ones that appeal to me directly, to come up to me and ask me, would you like this, or how would you like this to be done? So that I could then tell them the way in which I would like it to be done, and it would then be done in that way. But beyond that, I don't, I'm not into... Well, I haven't studied how to code anything, really, and it would be a shitload of work, and I probably won't ever do that. There's a game called Sleep is Death, where you make your own... You sort of have a template, and it's quite ghetto, but you make your own little story that someone then runs through, and you respond to in real time. Just thought you'd you've never heard of it, maybe you have, maybe you haven't. Not making any judgments. But I was going to do that, but even that, I don't know, it's really time consuming, and I guess I just don't have the drive to do it. Don't know what that was. No, I don't really like rusty spoons, nor do I see any appeal in said rusty spoons. I generally enjoy it if my cutlery is smooth and clean, and doesn't have any sort of texture upon eating other than that said smooth, clean cutlery-ness. I don't think you really like rusty spoons either. I actually just got back from being in the library with my university friends. I really like my university friends. They're a really cool, weird bunch of people, and it's endlessly humorous, revelationary, of funny times kind of deal set up. Having said that, I did have the opportunity to live with some of them. I chose not to because I don't like it if I live in a house and I feel any compulsion to talk to the other people. I don't like being in the kitchen and them being there and feeling like I owe them some of my time. I like being able to go to my room and be in my room and not be disturbed. I like to not be knock, knock, knock. Hey Rose. No, I don't want that to happen to me. I just want to have my own sphere that is uninterrupted by outside sources, and I don't want to feel obligation in that sphere. I don't want to feel anything other than I'm in my room and it is my room. So that's the reason why I choose to live in these strange situations, just so I avoid that obligation. Do I seem uncheerful? Am I lacking in cheer? I don't think so. I think I'm at a sort of neutral setting. Things are alright at the moment as they stand. I feel okay, kinda. Very little in the way of due dates at my current moment in time in terms of homeworks. So I feel almost good. Quite tired at the moment, generally quite tired when I'm doing this. But you know, I'm glad that I come across as doleful to you, human. I think, generally speaking, I do not appear lacking in cheer. I am just perhaps not as enthusiastic as some people would expect for whatever reason. You, sir, are who I am referring to. The only time I ever woke up from a dream crying, I don't remember what the dream was. I just remember waking up and being like, what the fuck is happening? I'm not a person who often cries. Check the guns. So it was weird. And I don't know what that dream was. It must have been truly terrible. Maybe my dog died. Invader Zim's okay. It's alright, it's a TV show that's kind of funny sometimes. There's no real adoration going on in Invader Zim's direction. Can't talk, good time to approach this website / be alive. I got up, and here I am. Do-do-do-do! Is that what that was? Okay. I haven't seen that video in about 3 years. It's the kind of thing that people who've just found the internet, or at least gone away from Facebook briefly, find, and then link you to, along with like a lolcat. But anyway, thanks for letting me know about that. What's with all the weird cartoon-liking accusations I'm getting too? In as many days. Actually, both today. Futurama's okay. I watch it. I much prefer the most recent series to the rest of it. I think it's better now. But it's alright. I think it kind of tries to appeal to nerddom in a way that's above its station. Not to sound like a dick or nothing, too late. But, it's alright. It's a link to a video of 2 fat girls dancing to a shit song. What? I don't get it. Is it supposed to be funny? It's neither funny nor pleasing. Good job. I bought a video card. I upgraded from my old GeForce A800 GT to an HD 4890 ATI card. If I were to upgrade now, I would get an 460 or mayhaps a 6X50, with X being a number that I have forgotten, because you can unlock, it's an ATI card that you can unlock to go up to the 6X70. Bam! For free. The hands are here to stay. I think it's time for me to stop denying them. I'm holding them down here, but they cannot be contained. That's my story. I hope you liked it. Yeah, Nay1 is a fucking dick. Let's get this straight. Every grade I get, he gets a better grade. Every high score I get, he obliterates. I'm sick as shit of Nay1, and I hope he dies. What do atheists smell like? I'm actually genuinely interested in your response to this, and as this website enables conversations, then you're pretty much obliged to tell me. How militant am I? Militant in what sense? Do I go around beating up religious people? No. Do I get into arguments with them? Yes. Does it feel like a waste of time? Yes. I don't give much weight to, well, let's have respect for everyone, and, you know, it's their faith, and you shouldn't mess with that. I don't think that's correct. So I will attempt to encourage everybody with an irrational faith to question said irrational faith, if possible. But you are then aligning yourself with a bunch of people who are really annoying. I don't love Richard Dawkins. In fact, I think he's annoying. It's a tough road. It's a tough and rocky road. It's not really. It's a neutral road that tries to encourage neutrality and rationalism. Stop talking. Alright. I think I said everything I wanted to say. If I even had anything I wanted to say. I said it regardless. I don't believe in luck. I don't think there is such a thing. You call it luck when a series of unlikely events happen in a consecutive order. Then you consider yourself lucky. But luck as a thing has no innate value or meaning. Having said that, yes, I do consider myself lucky, and I think it gives me a better life to think of that. There is no in general when it comes to the internet. The internet is everything. It includes every aspect and every niche and every facet. It can't be generalized to a localized region of this is something. It is everything. Everything bad, everything fucking terrible, and everything great. Cannot be generalized, or general, or general. This question makes me very happy. Good question. Okay, I've only played Bishi Bashi with other people, and maybe that human element shouldn't be there in order to truly fucking hammer in that hellfire. When you're with other people, it's like, haha, I suck, but I guess. Oh, I'm angry, but I guess it's fun. But take that away, and you just have hitting your head against the fucking arcade machine. I've only played it in an arcade. I can't imagine playing it anywhere else. You need the massive fucking balls of pain. The thing that I'm terrible at is the ones. Can't fucking do it. Feel like it's like the time that the time that I felt the most fucking retarded is trying to play that stupid game like a cripple. Like, I can't do it. So, I think alone is probably the best to truly feel that pain. I should probably try that sometime in an arcade. Perhaps with people watching me play it on my own to potentize the whole event. What you're describing is me on the internet. That's what I do because it's fun to me. It's the most fulfilling. But that isn't to say that it's not genuine. This is me. I am this. But it's sort of like, as you say, wrapped, veneered. But there's definitely me here. Hi. What upsets me? I don't know. Outside right now I can hear the people who hang out outside, and I have to walk by them to get to the fucking door, to open said fucking door, to get to my bedroom, away from the street. I don't like that they're hanging out there. That upsets me, because it seems like it's going to become a regular event, which will probably ultimately result in my rape on the stairwell. Somebody made a video recently wherein I said rape a lot. So really, I'll have brought it on myself, and that will probably be mentioned in the court of law. Upsetting. I wouldn't worry about it, because I just looked out the window that isn't outside. The people that I heard were actually living down there. I can see them through a window, and I could see a guy fucking someone, and then I could also hear an audience, and that is the sounds that were going on, that I thought was just an unruly street gang. It was an orgy, an unruly orgy. So let's not worry about that, but in all honesty, what can you do? You gotta be flippant about everything. It's the first line of defense, flippancy. Depressingly, I haven't really read that many books since I made that video. When I'm at university, my brain is essentially ripped clean away from me and held ransom, and the only thing I'm allowed to put inside it generally is relating to a homework paper or an exam that's approaching rapidly and dreadfully on the horizon. So, but a book I have read over that period of time and actually finished, Jesus, is The Adventures of Kavalier and Clay, which is a pretty awesome book that I'd recommend. Another one that I'd read before but didn't actually mention in the video is A Secret History by Donna Tartt, which I would also recommend. Kavalier and Clay is about some kids during the Second World War who make a comic about Hitler getting beaten up a lot. Very good book. Sounds good, because it is. And Secret History is about a bunch of college kids. Yeah, enjoy that. I've just ordered Infinite Jest, which is apparently an excellent book that maybe you can read at the same time, and you can tell me what you think of it, whoever the fuck you are, and I can be vaguely interested because it's relevant to me, perhaps, unless you're slightly ahead of me and giving me spoilers. I don't like spoilers. I hate spoilers. I dislike people. Anyway, that's sort of a side issue, but it's just suddenly sprung into my mind as a big deal. I started reading Count of Monte Cristo this summer, and that's really good, but I never finished it, got distracted. Somewhere around here. Moby Dick, the same thing happened last year to that. Both really good books, neither of them have been finished. It's sad. Sorry. Useless. I haven't played a great amount of beat-em-ups over the length of my game life. When I was a kid, we had Mortal Kombat 2 for Mega Drive, which I played and liked and was quite good at, but then after that it was pretty sparsely populated. We had Tekken for PlayStation 1 and Tekken. I don't remember which numerical denotation of Tekken it was, but that I played a bit, kind of enjoyed, was pretty button mashy. But after that it was pretty much an arid wasteland in terms of beat-em-ups, until 2 summers ago when Street Fighter 4 came out, which I bought and got quite obsessed with, wanted to be very, very good at. Bought an arcade stick because I started playing in an arcade in London called Casino, where all the this was before Super came out and completely obliterated the arcade scene around here and everywhere, I guess. So yeah, I went there, and it's all the pros played. All the Street Fighter 4 pros were there. Guys who had Guinness World Records for various things they'd done in the game, like Zach Bennett and Ryan Hart, and a couple of other people. Yeah, so I'd go and play them every Friday for a couple months until Super came out and fucked everything right up. It was fun. I fucking loved it. It was great. I beat Zach Bennett in one round once, and that felt sweet. And at some point he was watching me play someone else, and I did something good, and he said it was impressive, and that made me feel good. Yep, that's who I am. What I'd done was I was playing a Ryu who did an Hadouken in my face, and I was close enough that I could pull off the Ultra and it would skip past the animation, grab him, and I ultra'd him, and he died, and that felt great. It depends a lot on what emoticon it is and the context of said emoticon. Generally speaking, yes. Well, I don't know if that's true. It used to be true, but maybe I was mellowed in my old emoticon age. Anyone who uses a sticky out tongue or the winking face in a genuine way, yes, I will instantly lose respect for them. But it's certainly not a black and white delineation on whether it's okay or not. There's grey areas when it comes to emoticons. I'm going to preface this by saying I've only seen one episode. Of that episode, the stand-up was pretty good. Okay, I always like it when a comic comes out and it insults the people who have paid money, or at least banked on the idea that they would be in some way entertained. That's good. So the stand-up was alright. But the sketches were fucking abysmal. Everything about Mock the Week that sort of made Frankie Boyle relied on the limitations that were enforced by the show and, you know, by the BBC, by it being on TV on the BBC. So there's this line he's sort of, you know, pushing against, and you laugh at it. But with Tramadol Nights, it was like everything had just been taken away. All those limitations, any boundaries had just gone. And so it's just like, it just wasn't any longer any funny. And the fact he just relied completely on the fact that his sketches would be offensive, and that was the only humour that could ever be taken away from any of the sketches I saw anyway. It was just the fact, oh, this is offensive to some people, not me. It's just, to me, it's just not funny at all. So, yeah, I think that was the problem with it. No limitations. But his joke about Jordan and Jordan's kid is one of the funniest things I've heard from Frankie Boyle. So, like, maybe that makes it worthwhile. But in general, I think that show could have been a lot better. A lot better. He was just... My parents haven't paid for my existence since I lived at home. When I live at home, I get food. That's the extent of their paying for my existence. Right now, they've never been able to afford to help me in my life. I mean, no. When I was away, when I first went around Europe, my dad gave me a bit of money, and I get some money at Christmas and my birthday, but not a huge amount, not anything like enough to live on, £100 or something. When I'm at university, I live on the loan that I get from the government that I will eventually have to pay back. But until then, it's imaginary money. It's like, you know, I square root minus 1. Do you mean the TV channel Dave? I don't watch TV. It's sort of an archaic form of seeking entertainment for me. I just watch my computer. At home, when I was at home at Christmas, or when I'm at home, I watch Dave with my parents sometimes, because it has shit like QI, which is very sort of, something's on and it isn't making me want to kill myself very much. So I watch it then. Other than that, even my parents have a fucking computer hooked up to their TV that they download things on and watch. Even for them, the TV is drifting off. Sorry, hit you in the mouth. Ears even. My mouth, your ears. The microphone is what I'm referring to. So, yeah, that's the answer I said a while ago. I carried on talking. Well, pseudo-solipsism is what got me where I am today. In terms of this is me. I wouldn't be this otherwise. So I guess I'd push that idea, that ridiculous, stupid idea that work's a treat, onto younger me. Fuck off. Onto younger me, in the hopes that I would become me sooner and be less timid, terrified, useless, stupid, waste. No. Just to push the process along a little bit more speedily. This message comes from a guy on VU called Shoefan. And if you go on his page, it has a video. The question is, why don't you ever show your face? And the answer is a piece of paper with the word shame and a sad face on it. Which is a bit depressing. I can't actually indulge you, Shoefan, because I don't own a single pair of high heels, nor have I ever. But I can show you the shoes I'm wearing right now. Here they are. They are, as you can see, remarkably stylish and sophisticated, you might say. Yeah, don't feel ashamed. Shame is a choice that you make, and you can feel whatever the fuck you want to feel about pretty much anything in life if you just put the blinkers on, as I choose often to do. Don't feel bad. Some people like shoes, I guess. Not me, but that's alright. I was actually very conservative in my gobbing. I started off with a fairly minuscule gob stream, which I sucked up, watched back, realised it really wasn't very impressive, unlike the final cut, which is incredibly impressive. So yeah, I went the conservative route of lengthening over time, of about 3 videos perhaps, to the gob I got to, and at which point I thought if I do it for this for much longer I will be gobbing on myself. And that's not something I'm willing to do for this cause. So, 0, because I got style and panache with gobbing. It was a stamp from the night before when I went to see a band. I believe it said paid. It wasn't a barcode as far as I'm aware. The bands that I went to see were including The Carrier, and a bunch of other bands I hadn't heard of. One called At Daggers Drawn, who are really good live but pretty shit on recording because they like to talk. But yeah, the most notable event that occurred that evening was just looking over. Oh, there's a guy taking a piss on the bar. That's fine, that's normal. That's not at all difficult to comprehend, and I'm not gonna stare at the piss, stare at the guy, stare at the piss, stare at the guy staring at me, stare at the piss, look away. No, that definitely didn't happen. Let's tell ourselves that over and over again every night before we go to sleep. No, I don't own any consoles. I have a Wii, but let's not even pretend that counts. I haven't played it. I used it last night to watch iPlayer because my computer was broken, but it's fixed now, so let's calm ourselves. I don't own any consoles because I have a fucking PC is the answer to your question. The only thing that would draw me to a PlayStation 3 is Red Dead Redemption, and I'm still entirely holding out. I would never buy a console for one game, or really out of principle any game, because I don't like the restrictions that consoles have put in place on games and the way in which games are made, and everything about consoles I am essentially against. So, no. I think that any good physics lecturer or writer or narrator should certainly inject some form of romance into proceedings. I mean, I think one of the main reasons I'm studying physics is because of how much I like science fiction. That is a sort of driving force. I am romantically involved with physics. It's not just a hard factoid scenario. So yeah, but on the other hand, some people take it too far and are generally loathsome. People like Brian Cox. You can probably see him around YouTube acting amazed and enthralled and just how he would never say fucking. It's just so cool, you know, physics is so cool, and he really wants to get that feeling across anyway. This is basically a bone I have to pick with someone you probably haven't heard of. But yeah, in general, let's get some romance involved. If you asked me this question 5 years ago, the answer would certainly have been yes, but that was because, and I thought about it a lot at the time, it was essentially because I had nothing to lose at that time in my life. Now, I have things to lose, and people are very annoying to me. People's habits and people's strangenesses, even people I really like, it grates on me like no other thing in the fucking world. And I remember I was listening to a radio program about somebody who'd basically, they're in a small location and they were isolated because it was incredibly cold outside or something. They were doing some research, and he was just talking about how much everybody's tiny little behaviours in general, quirks, just slay you. And I feel like that most of the fucking time, and I'm not in a small isolated location with other people. So yeah, I think it would probably be a bad idea and would end ultimately in me committing suicide, and that would just muddy the place up with blood. Perhaps. No, let's take the cyanide option. Point being, it's still tough for me to say no outright to, and it's very easy for me to cast it off when it's just a hypothetical. It's still appealing. If I would come back, then quite possibly, but I would go insane. Of course I saved Rex. What kind of monster do you take me for? If somebody tells me they didn't save Rex, I instantly don't like them as much. just a factor of that person that has become apparent. That is, you know, it's not up for discussion. Kaiden, not Ashley. I think I saved Ashley? I don't even remember, those people were so unappealing to me. I had no business with either of them because I cared so little for them both. Did I destroy the robot? Is this Mass Effect 2? Yeah. Yeah, I kept him. How can you destroy shit? How can you, like, kill things? Unless they're incredibly annoying. Kaiden and Ashley, fuck, fine, kill them. But Rex and that robot, no. Just stop being such a monster. I do everything in my power to not have any destruction involved in any hard drive situation. Last night I spent a lot of time transferring files in command prompt to an external, not an external, but it was acting as an external. It was an internal hard drive, sort of on the floor next to the computer to which I was taking things. I spent a lot of time. I have a lot of stuff that I don't want to lose. Archives. No, I have never had urgent cause to destroy a hard drive. Keep them. Keep them all. Hoard. Digital hoarder. That's fine by me. Am I limited to a blunt object? Because that sort of puts the butts on the whole weapon of choice situation that you have propelled toward me using this website. I would use my bow and arrow, but I was thinking about it, and actually I only have 8 arrows, which probably wouldn't get me very far. I don't think they'd be very easy to extricate from a brain. Plus, well, I don't think a bow and arrow would even work that well against zombies. You need some sort of blunt trauma. Bow and arrows mostly kill through loss of blood, which a zombie doesn't give a fuck about. So, I guess I'm fucked. Huh. Well, fortunately for me, I'm incredibly bored of thinking about zombies and playing against zombies. So, by the time it becomes relevant, I will just be tired of it. As I am now. Bored. I'm fucking bored of this shit. I care not, due to my immense boredom. So that would be my weapon of choice. My blunt weapon of choice is my own boredom at the whole genre. I'd say the Elusive Man is undeniably a baddie. They set him up pretty much as a baddie. It seems quite transparent. If he ends up not being a baddie, then I'll be interested in that. That will be an interesting development. But I don't imagine, nothing ever really interesting happens in a game. It's by the book and as expected. But there's room for that. At the end, spoilers! At the end you're given a decision that's, you know, do this or do this. That's what decisions are. I just highlighted that. Point is, one of them is sort of, you know, do this for science. It's kind of bad, but do it for science. And the other one is like, no, just don't do it. Just blow the shit up. It's bad. I went with the do it for science option because I felt like I like that. I like doing things for science, even if they're slightly controversial. But then by the end, it was just made it clear from everybody's absolute disgust that I'd done the baddie thing that the Elusive Man wants me to do. So before I play the next Mass Effect, I will go back and change that choice. That's something I don't like about Mass Effect, is the pure dichotomy between like good and bad, and it's what I don't like about the way Dragon Age is going. But that's a side issue, and this is now in the Too Long region. Yes, maybe he's an android. The Elusive Man was good, but it kind of felt like I'm going into the Martin Sheen room now, and it felt a bit tacked on, and that was a little bit disappointing. But Elusive Man, foe in terms of the story, but I kind of enjoyed him, and whee! More enjoyable, I have to understand the motives of this person. This person's motives have to corroborate in some way with my own. This person is not a sort of cardboard cutout of several other billion humans. There are a lot of those. I meet them, and you look at them, and you realise that you've met this person before, many times, and this person is a bit annoying. But this person has shaped themselves to be that person, for some reason. More enjoyable. Other things that make them more enjoyable. They have knowledge in a niche sector. They have similar defining interests. They are funny. Unenjoyable. Just general idiocy is an unenjoyable factor. Loud people often are unenjoyable for me personally. But really, I mean, I'm quite, as I recently highlighted, I'm rather an irritable person. So somebody can be unenjoyable for me to be around just because they happen to be eating a sandwich in a way that displeases me. But those are sort of minor in the scheme, but not in the sort of current location of sandwich eating. But in the scheme, that can be overlooked in terms of a friendship. That's okay. Minecraft is something I don't understand. I don't claim to understand. I perhaps will never understand. I understand what it does. I understand what people do in it. But that's about as far as it goes. It has passed me by. But I'm very happy that it exists. I'm very happy at the response it has garnered. I'm happy that this dude has managed to sell a shitload of copies of this game that he made without even using any sort of digital distribution platform. It's just like, hey, does anybody want to buy my game? Lots of people say yes. Cool. That's really awesome, and I hope that it happens more often. Go, go, go. Something that I'm ashamed of, but that I'm going to admit to you and anyone watching this. I was once fished. Yeah. Not in an okay way either, in a really stupid way, but I was playing Anno 1404, and at the time my Steam account kept signing me out. And I'm not going to go through it because it's fucking retarded. Point is, I was fished, and they stole my Steam account, and they had my Steam account, and I emailed Steam, and I didn't get my Steam account back for 3 days. And those were tough days, not just because it was like, I want to play a game, but because it was like, shit, I've spent so much money on Steam, and it's all, I can't get to it. That is fucking bad shit, but fortunately Steam are very good at dealing with that sort of thing, and I had it back, as I said, within 3 days. But if I actually lost my Steam account permanently, it's not just, like, as I said, it's not just the games, it's the fucking money. Gee. I don't know what I'd do if I lost my account. I'd email Gabe Newell, because he's a nice guy, and hope for the best. Please God, may that never happen. It was indeed Diplomacy, but I haven't played it yet, so I can't tell you. It's a gift to a friend who's sort of not in London, but might be soon, and but was not here long enough for me to give it to him. So I'm hoping he's going to come back, apparently, and then we can play Diplomacy. We can all play Diplomacy. The only advice I can give you is stolen from a friend who stole it from a friend. Sign a contract with you and your friends. I know this is too late now because you asked me this question a few days ago. Hope you're all fine and alive. Yeah, sign a contract that states you will not bring up anything that occurs in the game in your real life because it will destroy your friendship. Sobering round and kinda shoot. Okay, you have shoot. That's good. You got shoot. That's fine. You're looking you're a bit of a spaz. You are kind of crippled by this stupid setup. This setup means it's not good for you when things are actually on different levels and somehow interesting and not a corridor. Okay, so games that are now developed for consoles are then shoveled sideways onto a PC. Well, I have this equipment, and this equipment. And this equipment in particular makes a big difference to my viewing angles and possible shooting zones. Much more interesting games, much wider games because of the processing power that is available to PCs that is absolutely not available to the closed platform consoles. And it means games like Crysis 2 are being destroyed because they're being limited to a space like this, and you walk down a fucking corridor and you shoot some shit that's there and there and there and there and all on the same plane as you. It simplifies. Another console question. I hope this doesn't like jar my face around like a fucking retard like the last one did. Didn't do that to the audio, I just felt the need to do it myself. I actually wrote an article all about Dragon Age 2. It's strange to me when people don't know this. I guess I don't publicise things very well. I write for a website called ready-up.net, and you can read my shit there. Advert. Dragon Age Origins is good, because as you say, it has some layers of grey. I like the conversation structure in Dragon Age. I really enjoy it more than some people do. Pointless caveat. So it feels somewhat, you know, it's not a well-defined avenue you're treading and you're taking paths on a thing. Fuck. Like in Mass Effect 2, it's just like, here's a little picture denoting something good. Here's a picture denoting something bad. Which you gonna be? And Dragon Age Origins isn't like that at all. It's very subtle in that regard. Whereas in Dragon Age 2, as you obviously know, they're bringing in this fucking shit system that they had in Mass Effect 2. Wherein everything you say is very clear and everything is delineating you to one side or the other of a coin. And that's very annoying, and there's lots of other aspects about that game that I find super annoying. Which I have written about, and you can read. Yes, I am interested in films. Important S. I don't like favourites though. They are something that overwhelm me to think about. So I'm just going to list some films I like, and probably some things that I might put on the list would be in that list, but it is not necessary that they would be doing that. Yeah! Onward and Fistacular. Dr. Fist, no. Yes. So, There Will Be Blood, one of my favourite films of the past 5 years. I said it. Favourite. Primer, one of my most enjoyed sci-fi films about two nerds who build a time machine, very appealing to me. A Single Man, I saw it very recently. I would say it was one of the best films of 2010, but that may be because I didn't expect what I got from it, and what I got from it was awesome. The Illusionist, also another 2010 film that I saw, that was very good and worth watching. Animated off the back of Triplets of Belleville slash, what's it called? Belleville Rendezvous, depending on the country in which you reside. Really good, you should watch it soon. Once Upon a Time in the West and The Godfather Part 2 are very firmly planted in a sort of generic manner. And those are some films that I have thought of, and now my mind is gone blank, and I am blank, and my voice is blank, and my face is blank, and I am blank, and you are blank, and we are blank, and goodbye. Not really excited. I find it very difficult to get excited about any sort of AAA game that is on the horizon, just because I assume it has been in some way tampered with and ruined, a la Dragon Age 2. So yeah, I guess it's more like tentatively observing. I'm sure it's going to be everything Mass Effect 2 was, but worse. And by worse I mean worse. Okay, lowest common denominator. Watch it go down. It's the numerator is even increasing in order to truly ram home the difference. I don't know. I hope not, but I'm sure that it's just like this rather increasing attempt to turn film games into a filmic experience that sort of ruins everything games are into a very streamlined, on rails kind of feeling. Everything that Mass Effect 2 did to simplify Mass Effect 1, I expect that again. So it just sort of becomes a gelatinous goop of uninterestingness. A bird this morning Pa called the little boy Ned, raised him on the banks of the riverbed. Houseboat tied to a big tall tree, home for my papa and my mama and me. 3 o'clock, Papa jumps to his feet. Already Mama's cooking something to eat. 1:30, Papa, he's ready to go. Jumps on the pier, heading down the bayou. He's got fishing lines strung across the Louisiana River. Gotta catch a big fish for us to eat. Catching, setting traps in the swamps, catching anything he can. Gotta make a living, he's a Louisiana man. Gotta make a living, he's a Louisiana man. Ba 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 boo boo. Something like that. Guys make me feel like Mass Effect is the only game I've ever played. This is referring to Mass Effect. P.S. I don't have a crew yet. I only banged Thane. I was gonna bang the chick who's sort of the PR chick, who's pretty nice. But I blew it with her quite early on, and then she stepped right back, and I couldn't quite reach her. And then all of a sudden she was totally into me, and I was like, whoa, shit. And I sort of said, no, I'm going to do Thane. But now I regret my choice. I'm not really someone who'll go back and play the game again, except obviously to repeat and change my end decision, as previously mentioned. But that's a regret I'm going to take to the grave. My parents are pretty much impressed with whatever I do ever. They don't really push me academically. The only way they have pushed me is, other than that, it's all dandy. I don't think I've ever got anything for Valentine's Day. Feel free to send me a shitty e-card. I think this is actually the worst thing anybody has ever said to me. Somebody asked me in a thing on here if I'd ever been offended by anything, and I didn't reply to it, but the answer's going to be no. Until now. I'm offended. Fucking mortally. I think that guy's a giraffe dissert of unforgivable proportions, and he needs to go and say that to a giraffe's face and just see what happens. What a dick. All this meta, other people, incesticide is making me feel a bit sick, but Darbot is super fucking cute. Like a cartoon character. Good human. I like watching her talk and be alive. I get angry a lot without noticing. I sound very angry sometimes when I'm not angry in the slightest. I'm just saying something unbeknownst to me. It's coming out in a sort of rage-laced way. It means at university people talk about rose rage and sing a song about it sometimes. And like earlier on I was in a lecture and I just asked the lecturer if he'd written something wrong on the board, which he had. I said, is that supposed to be? And he said, yeah, sorry. Apparently I sounded very angry when I asked this. And I wasn't angry in the slightest. All the time, people say, calm down, Rose. And I don't know. In a way, I don't dislike it because I think it's quite funny. But it's also very odd to just feel entirely normal and then somebody tell you that you seemed really agitated and angry and like overbearing when that wasn't the intent. So I don't know if I'd change it though. I feel like that's an aspect of me. The accidental rage. So maybe I just change everyone else so that they know that about me. That's not the question, is it? And that's very arrogant. Change everyone else to fit around me. That's my answer. That doesn't even work. Dogs are much better than cats. No contest. I'll take a dog, please. Chicken, thanks. Beef is good sometimes. Like roast beef that is rare is delicious. And there are occasions on which I would gladly take that over its chicken counterpart. But on average and in general, I will take the chicken, thank you. Tea or coffee, fuck you. Let's not even think about trying to choose between those two. They are very different genres of things, despite appearing initially the same. No dice. Thanks. Fuck. Internet friends. Similarly. I love that word. Do you notice? I don't know if it's a word. Carry on using it regardless. I really like the internet, but friends are really entertaining. So let's just skip on past that. Stingray or Captain Scarlet, and Mr. Ron's answer is entailed in my question. Inception or Shutter Island? Inception, although I did enjoy Shutter Island. A lot of people hated that film. I thought it was alright, I guess. Wine or spirits? I don't drink. I'll have some lemonade. Thanks. I'm almost certainly shorter than you. I remember complaining about my height to my granny, and she said, "You'll be glad about it when you start meeting boys." You know what? No. I'm not glad about it. I look like a joke. I'm 5'3", which could be worse. You know, it's not quite midget status, but it is bordering. And I do feel like I'm a little too underwhelming or just funny. Either way is not good. My shower is annoying me hugely. The way you control the temperature, there are 2 taps. Going to the same shower, hot and cold. You know the drill. You know this. And in order to get the right temperature, i.e. not scalding and not entirely freezing me to an icicle, you have to sort of tap the tap. You have to tap the tap. I'm going to say that and not think of another word because I don't think there is one. You call it faucet, I guess, maybe. Whoever you are, wherever you're from, you might call it faucet. I would call it tap because this fine land is where I was born and raised. And you have to tap it so gently to get to the right temperature because every slight tap, the resolution on this tap is obscene. Like 10 degrees per micron. And it makes it very hard to get the right temperature and just be like, I'm cold, now I'm too hot. It was easier adjusting the lens of a laser in order to make it laze than it is to fucking control the... So my shower is annoying me every week. Every week. I actually intend to play diplomacy with 3 males, one of whom is my boyfriend. So get at him. I don't think I'm going to be very good at this game. I played Neptune's Pride, which is about you have a flight of ships. It's an online web browser game. I recommend trying it out. You have a bunch of ships, and you fly from planet to planet, star to star, planet to planet. And you attempt, well, what you do, you go and fly to the star and you take it and then you build your armies slowly. Usually I build them too fast because I'm like, shit, gotta have a fleet. When no, you should really be upgrading your economy and other surpluses. This is going dreadfully. I would usually stop and record it again, but instead I'm just going to say it and then possibly delete it soon, because I look like a raving spaz. Yeah. So in this game, I played it in the usual manner, which I play games. You know, okay, I'm gonna go take this, take this, take this, battle this dude. Cool, cool, cool. Oh, I'm wiped out. Every time I was wiped out, it became apparent very quickly that what you absolutely must do in this game to survive is talk to the other people, make deals with them, bargain with them, work it out for a little while, and then just fuck them over. Carry on. This is what diplomacy is. But, I'm not so good at the old interfacing option. I quite like the just brute force approach, and that didn't work well in that game. I don't think it's going to work well in this game. I think I will be sunk, but I'll report back at a later juncture when I have played the game. Hey, where's all the hostility coming from? I know, I've got a good idea. Let's go and find a nice fire and sit around it, and maybe you can bring out the old harmonica and give us some tunes, and we can have some chats occasionally. Cozy. The coziest you could ever expect in a post-apocalyptic nuclear wasteland. You know what? I've never mentioned that ever, because it didn't happen. You have confused me with somebody else. That's not okay, is it? No, it's really not. I'm based in the UK, where I've always been based. Except when I was about 3 years old, we lived in Spain for 6 months. How do you quantify reality? Come on, Francis, tell me. Is it the summation of how you have been at any point, summed over the number of points there have been? And then, that's me? Tell me. I'm all ears. I don't know, it's not... I act like this sometimes. It's kind of obviously come from me. It's a part of me. The way I'm acting right now is definitely me being that way. It's an aspect of me, but like, made more potent. I think I talked about this in this exact way before. Sure, it's an aspect of Real Rose, just as is and would be everything I ever do. I'm sorry this is such a late response, but I think a late unicorn is better than no unicorn. So, alright, here we go. A bit of trivia. You know that a unicorn's thing. Well, you know how only only virgins can tame unicorns, right? That's because the unicorn becomes so filled with lust that he can't keep away from the from the fucking virgin. Because, well, let's just say that he goes up to her and lays his horn on her thigh and gets down to business. Right, here is this super fucking... What do unicorn tails look like? I have no fucking idea. There we go, that looks realistic. I hope that makes you happy. I'd rather sing it in the style of Bonsai Buddy circa 2001, because that shit won't leave my mind. Irretrievably burnt on the fucking skull. Daisy, Daisy. Bonsai, you ain't my buddy. filling my screen with purple annoyance. Give me your answer, do. I'm half crazy. Much like everyone in the fucking world, I like Johnny Cash a lot, and I like most things he's done. But his personal file is definitely my favourite, with the old covers and the old stories and the niceness. This is a difficult one to answer because I've only seen the series once. I haven't rewatched any of the series. So I don't think that's a valid basis. But I'll just say the first one because that might be true. It's more likely to be true than the most recent series, let's say that much. What I really liked about Mad Men was the subtlety. There was no fanfare of this is this, and this is this, and this is clearly this. Does that make sense? I'm being quite vague. The problem with talking about things like this is I begin to feel like a bit of a prick. So I'll say that much. But the most recent series was just about... it just seemed to go off in a complete opposite direction to what I felt made Mad Men really great. So it was all about Don Draper's secret diary, general weird slapstick that didn't work and felt weird and awkward. The only thing I liked was Sally Draper jerking off at her friend's house. That was the high point of the series. So I hope that season 5 returns to its previous form, but I don't know. I feel depressed and quite sad about season 4 of Mad Men. I hope it gets better, but I also doubt it a bit. Come on, prove me wrong, guys, please. I studied psychology briefly and was kind of dismayed at the whole thing. On the level I was on, it was all about remembering things, essentially. That seemed to be what a lot of the psychology learning curve involved, just memory tests. I don't know, maybe that changes. But psychology for me is one of the lesser sciences. But bear in mind, I do consider every science that isn't physics lesser, because that's the kind of person I am. But yeah, psychology, unless I like the sort of literal hands-on application of psychology, like, you know, get the fingers in the brain and do shit and see what happens. I like the neurobiological side of psychology a lot. But not so much into the rest of it. Sure, it's a science, kinda, but not very convincing, and I think quite open to bias. Sorry. Basically, yes. There's this air of superiority about physics and physicists. Lecturers, during lectures, will, like, you know, just casually downtread any of the other sciences, just, you know, without even thinking about it. The mere mention of chemists gives rise to a whole series of sort of jibes from any given lecturer. It's the same thing, and it's quite difficult not to find hilarious. And I'm buying into it just because it makes me feel good. You know that Darwinism existed before Darwin, right? And everything previous to this point has led to you existing and me existing and us existing. And if that is predicated on the fact that only assholes and jerks reproduce, that means that is necessity for us to exist now, here. Do we all suck? Maybe you could argue yes. I think the degree of suckdom is quite a constant throughout history. It's easy and depressing, but easy, to think that we're on a downward spiral. But if you look back throughout the previous decades and centuries, you'll see people saying the same thing over and over again, complaining about the youth of today, wherever you are at that point in history, and I think it's much of a muchness. But I hope that. I kind of think it and I hope it. I'll assume you're talking about YouTube. I don't know. I'm assuming that from the get-go. My decision all hinged around the fact that I was bored in my bedroom one day and there was a camera there. That was the extent of my decision. It's something I do when I'm bored. I also like watching some other people on YouTube, so I liked donating to the sea. Am I surprised? Yes, I'm incredibly surprised and weirded out by it, but at the same time it doesn't seem real in the slightest. It's numbers. To begin with, when it was, below 100, it was like, whoa, this is a lot of people. But as it gets bigger, it just gets more and more incomprehensible, and I don't know, it doesn't really, I don't really think about it very much, just because it's not something that comes into my head, and it's just weird. So, yeah. The way I treat a person depends entirely on whether or not I like them. Somebody can be really stupid and likable at the same time, or somebody can be very clever and also very unpleasant. That's the way the cookie crumbles, as I'm sure you're aware. So it depends more on that than any sort of absolute smartness. Or, I don't know, you're less ascendant. What does this mean? I'm taking it to mean in terms of smarts, the smarts. Those are the smarts. Still talking. How about that? Soul-crushing disdain is available to those who require it. Yes, I most certainly would. I think voiceover work would be pretty awesome. I just don't have the right voice for it, I think. My voice is kind of dual-layered mumble-grumbleness that isn't ever used, and I don't think it's useful, which is a shame, because I would be thrilled to do anything like that. It'd be awesome. Hum, in what regard? Maths is, for me, harder than physics, even though it's entailed within physics. The thing is, physics is the literal application of maths. Physics is kind of where maths becomes useful. Otherwise, it's a kind of pretty abstract world, which I have a great amount of respect for. But, basically, maths is entailed within physics. Maths exists in that realm too, and it's very necessary. And very fucking hard. Okay, chemists and biologists are probably more useful to the human race than physicists. They make things and discover things and realize things that mean we get to live longer, like considerably longer, and that's really useful to physicists and humans at large. So, in that regard, they're pretty good. I'm glad they exist. But on a more personal level, biology, I don't have much of an interest in. The guts and organs and shit. No, thanks. I like neurobiology, as I keep saying, it feels like. Chemistry. They sort of talk about things in the same way physicists do, to some extent, but they sort of dumb it down a fair whack. So, how much more can I say about this without it becoming inflammatory? Probably not a lot. How are they relative to physics? Don't really know how to answer that question. Hope I accidentally did. I'm a little bit torn on this one. I feel like writers exist and existed, not in a small capacity before there was such a massive amount of undergrads and whatever studying English. It's one of those things where it's not a necessity, it's not a prerequisite to writing a book. So, I love books, I like reading. If it means that more books are written and they are good, then good, I'm glad about that, and it's obviously something worth investing in. For me, I feel like it's quite an indulgent degree to pick because it's like fun. But that's just the way I feel because of what I've chosen to do. I mean, you know, nothing can stay fun really when you're studying it. It kind of ruins it a little bit. So I don't know. Because I've picked such a sort of hard degree that is actually really applicable and useful in life, it means I've developed a bit of a hardline approach to like art subjects, which I feel you don't really need, and it's kind of weird to pay so much money to do that when you don't necessarily gain. I'm sure you gain things, but at the same time you can do a lot of that stuff without being told how, and that has a lot of value to it on its own as an untaught sort of autodidactic thing. So I'm torn. I don't know how to answer the question. It's happening a lot. It's a bit shit, isn't it? No. Who are you? Are you stupid? What's wrong with your head? It's something I'm pondering right now. Is, you know, this question has given rise to a very much more serious question of, are you okay? And what are you doing to help fix yourself? Because you should be doing a lot. I'm worried. I'm not exactly the right person to ask on this subject because I don't like MMOs. I'm sort of intrigued by some, like Eve, which I see Earthrise as being compared to. There's nothing really about Earthrise on the internet that I can find because it isn't really out yet. There's some videos and some people saying, are you excited? Yes/no. So my thoughts are I probably won't play it because it's an MMO. Eve doesn't attract me because it seems incredibly grindy, and that's just kind of what MMOs are entirely based upon, the grind element, which doesn't appeal to me in the slightest. Newton's first law is probably my favourite. An object will remain in motion unless acted on by an external force. I'm not that, you know, it doesn't give me a massive boner or anything, but I quite like inertia. I don't know, I feel like to a certain extent bands just accept it. Whoever they appeal to, whoever is coming to their shows is representative of something that they are. Like I went to a show fairly recently with this sort of band, and the singer was just between every song just banging on about something, and in between one of them he just decided to sort of have a bit of a go at the audience and just started saying like how everyone here looked the same as everyone did in America. He didn't know why, you know, maybe it's the internet or whatever. It's like, I don't know what you expected. I don't know if you expected to come to your show. Like, I think he sort of had this idea that he'd come to England and everyone would just be like a very earnest miner or something. I don't know. It kind of annoyed me actually. You know, who you are, you've attracted these people. This is the kind of people who listen to your music. What you can do about it. And he also had this weird go at people saying for bringing their girlfriends and saying that they're all sitting in the back holding their boyfriends' coats. I didn't see that. I didn't see that happening. Anyway, it was weird. And if you're a band, you should probably just accept whoever's coming to your show. But if I was in a band and I thought my band was good and the audience was populated by jerk-offs completely, high saturation jerk-off count, then I might feel a bit annoyed. But, you know, you get what you're given. They give you money, so shut up. I think it'll probably be pretty awesome, but Rockstar are annoying to me because they don't bring things to the light. They don't bring things to the light side. They just stay in their squashed box, the little boxes under TVs. Why, Rockstar? Just bring it to me and I will love it so much more than those wastes of spaces. Aww, I want to play Red Dead Redemption and I want to play LA Noire. But apparently I was being told that they have hired a studio for a port job. So please bring it to my fine land. Please bring it. Hang on, so you're saying you've done an English degree and a physics degree, really? I don't know whether to believe that. If so, I'm impressed. But I mean, I think that within physics there's a shitload of stuff that you have to learn that is not instinctual in the slightest, and you have to have so many tools at your disposal that you have to just integrate into your mind to have always. And I just feel like the amount of knowledge that you need to be siphoned into your brain and then retain far exceeds that of an English degree. I'm sure an English degree is hard, but I think physics is probably harder. If anybody else has done both, please talk to me about it. I'd be interested to hear what you have to say. But, I don't know, I think the lack of... I stand by what I say. I don't really know much about this guy, other than he's the Unabomber and good at maths. If there's a good book about him that you've read, let me know. But yeah, I very much enjoy those kind of stories. There's the other guy, the Russian, who's, I think it was like last year, he discovered something that mathematicians have been struggling to find for centuries or whatever. Three-dimensional manifolds, something like that. And that's very appealing to me indeed. The fact that he refused the $1 million prize by saying through his door that he has all he wants and refusing to leave or do anything about it. So those kinds of people are truly assets to society, and very, very nice to know they exist. Yes, but I feel that if you do any sort of arduous task for a long time towards a certain goal, it will probably help you regardless of what that thing is. It's just that a degree is recognised by employers and they see that you've done it from that fact. I'm sure it does help everyone, or most people, but at the same time I'm sure it doesn't help a lot. I'm just getting flooded with these questions now, after saying what I said. I like art. Shit, yeah, art. Cool. I'm not, an absolute Philistine. I just see that it can happen and be around without the need for a degree. The same can be said of anything. The same can be said of physics, obviously. It's just that very much... You take a lot of steps in a short period of time that you can then leap off of, whereas with art, I feel like it's not necessarily particularly helpful for you as a creative individual to be told this is how this person did it and this is how this person did it about a lot of different people. I think maybe that hinders something. But what the fuck do I know, huh? I'm just a science bitch. Somebody called me that in this topic. There's this American guy I know. Every time I see him, this topic comes up, as it seems to have now happened on this website. The last time I saw him, he said, "Hey, it's you! Science, bitch!" And that was his opening, and also our closing. I try to ignore him, but he just keeps coming back. He keeps coming back from every party. I don't really know what shuffling feet together is. I'm trying to visualize it, but I'm not getting anywhere. I have been told that I run in my sleep like a dog, which I don't like, and sort of choose to deny. This question overwhelms me. What is it that I do with my life that's very... a big thing? And I feel that anything I could possibly say will be underwhelming and ultimately depressing. I'm tempted to lie, something about orphans. That gets a good response, or so I hear. As it is probably clear by now, I'm on a physics degree. It seems to be coming up a lot recently, and I even wrote it on this page, so that's perhaps a irrelevance at this point. Is that something I'm doing? That feels like the thing I'm doing, and every other thing is just a side quest or a helicopter. I can fly a helicopter. I do fly several helicopters simultaneously on a regular basis. That's another thing I do. I play games, although not so much lately. Been slacking. don't have a go-to game, which is giving me some jip. I've been reading more, which is considerably on whack. Go to see films a lot. Sometimes I go and see bands. Recently been going to a lot of weird parties. Varying degrees of weirdness, but the weirdness always very apparent. I'm sorry. Nothing I can say would make me feel good about myself, so I'm just gonna stop it here. You're on the internet. You know that, right? Everything is very easily obtainable and free. But casting that aside, you can download OpenOffice, which is like similar to Microsoft Office but free. I don't know if you know about that. I'm not actually entirely sure if it does grammar check, but it certainly does spell check, which is one thing. Otherwise, the internet for free. Be the avail. I'm a very great fan of Battlefield 2. I played it the whole of the summer that it came out, pretty much non-stop. I mean, it houses everything that is good. It did house also, unfortunately, the fragmentation of communities. It was sort of the beginning of that, in a way. Expansion packs that just meant people splintered off into their consecutive, and that sort of kind of ruined it a little bit. Which nicely DICE are doing, /EA, by releasing a pre-order bonus, which includes 4 maps or 6 maps or something. Not cool. I'm a very great anti-pre-order boni kind of person, especially when it's shitty things that are already fracturing things, and meaning, because I'm not pre-ordering it, I won't get to play those maps, so I'll be seconded out of a group of people who will be able to play those maps. I mean, I probably won't pre-order it, maybe, possibly, maybe. I don't generally pre-order games. Haven't pre-ordered a game in a long time, but if Battlefield 3 is as good as Battlefield 2 and doesn't seem to be giving up too much to the Black Ops / just Call of Duty as a franchise now as it exists, God, then it's possible that I'll pre-order it. Basically, yes, kind of excited, but also, fear and trepidation haunt my every step in that regard, as is the way with a lot of high-budget titles, / all high-budget titles. But I really hope it's great, and I hope it's like Battlefield 2 and not at all in the slightest, least bit like Bad Company 2. When I was 19, I went Europe for a while, and I stopped off a festival called Flufffest in the Czech Republic, and I had a lot of fun when Bane were playing. I mean, that's probably the most fun I've had at a show. Seeing Bane, being at the front, getting crushed, and jumping on the stage, and everyone else jumped on the stage, and it being very fun and just feeling good. That's probably my best. Probably the best concert I've been to, but it's not really a concert I've been to, it's just a band that were playing at a festival I was at. And I mean, they're not particularly sophisticated, but they are very fun, and I do enjoy them. But I've been to lots of other good shows also. I was using it to describe something facty, and I see now clearly, by the use of definitions and Google, that it actually means something that's thought to be true based on the fact it's been in print a lot, but isn't actually necessarily true or at all true. That's pretty weird, pretty good, I like it, thanks for bringing my attention to it. I've had quite a few people asking me this, so I put it in the side, in the biography section, because sadly, it is a part of my life. It's not sad at all, it's a fucking great channel. Check that out. Yep, there's an awful lot of links to various JPEGs and picture-like files in my message box. So thanks. Happy Valentine's Day to you too, whoever you may be. Whoever's watching this, we all give a shit, I'm sure. I didn't really want this to happen. I wanted you to give me a reason or some kind of insight into why you thought it. And heads up, I am pretty bad. Pretty bad. I don't really like Curb Your Enthusiasm, but I like that. Tangent. You know, it signifies the ascent into adolescence and adulthood of Tim the Tool-Time Tailor's middle son, and all the tragedy and joy that lie therein. I actually sung it at that level so that I could reach a higher note later on. But then I fucked it up, so it became irrelevant. And one of my favourite songs is Singable. A valid concern is as follows. Okay, ready? Not